In this video, we're going to install Barkbuster handguards, custom made for the KLR 3rd generation. We're also going to add these Storm plastic guards. So these little wind guards that come on the KLR, little plasticky things, they're not strong enough. They're not designed to withstand dropping your bike. If you do, chances are you're going to break off your clutch or your brake levers or damage your handlebars. So we're going to get rid of these little plasticky things and replace them with these Barkbusters. First thing we're going to do is remove these plastic hand guards, wind guards. $10mm bolt. And there's one on the bottom. One on the bottom looks like just a nut. And if you peel back the plastic hand guard, you might be able to get it clear of that little threads. Come on, buddy. You're not going to reuse these, so if it gets damaged taking off, so be it. Alright. Alright, there you go. Let's get the other side off. You can see this one's already cracked, so they're not that strong. There's the top bolt. We'll do the same on the bottom. So I couldn't get in there with a wrench, so I'm going to do it with a socket. Going the right way. There it is. Alright, that side comes off much easier. So we're not going to use these mounts for the new hand guards, but it's a pretty good idea to just bolt it back in so that rain doesn't get in there and corrode things. And since we're adding weight to the bike already, I think we'll forego putting these two little nuts on. So now we're going to remove the bar ends, 6mm Allen. These are on pretty tight, so we took ours off earlier when we added the heated grips, but normally they're on pretty torqued well, so you might need a little cheater bar, especially if you're using an Allen like this. But ours are not torqued on yet, so we'll torque them on when we finish this install. And we won't reuse this, so put those to the discard pile. Now for the clutch side. So after you remove all the myriad of staples out of here, this is what comes with the hand guards. So of course you have these parts right here. And then these are the hardware, and they include new bar ends, bar weights. And of course all the hardware to make the install work. The instructions basically come with all the parts that you need, also showing you how the bar view should look, how it points up and not down. And then on the other side you have the instructions. And that shows you pretty clearly a diagram of how everything's going to fit along with the labeled parts. So let's start assembling this and get it put on the handlebars. So looking at the diagram, this will go onto the handlebar like we said earlier. And then this will latch through here. This bolt will go into there. And that will go into the bar end over here. And for this install, for all the Barkbuster, looks like all the heads are 5mm Allen heads. So we're going to start here with the bar end. First thing you're going to do is put on the weights. And then we're just going to put this bolt in really loosely so we can move things around. And we'll tighten it, Loctite it later. And we'll just let this dangle down here. And then we'll remove these Allen bolts here that'll go onto our handlebars. So now we're just going to position this bracket right here. Actually, it works pretty good if you just put it right above this tie down, and then underneath the cables going over the top of it. And then we'll put this on here, just ever so loose, just a couple threads, so we can still move it around. Okay, it's on. Now we're going to check the fitment of this. Same thing, all loose. So we're just kind of put it in position where you want it. Again, we want to protect the levers, so I'm just going to put it right parallel with them, kind of facing down a little bit. And then we'll slowly tighten these little by little, making sure we do it at the same increment. So once we get this snug here, we'll move on to this part and snug it down. Not too tight yet, just snug. And we'll move back here to the bar end. Snug this down as well. I'm going to end up pulling this again though, so I can put Loctite on it and torquing it down. But we're just checking the fitment of everything right now. So you can see that position's pretty good there. We got decent protection for our levers. And now let's snug these down, make them tight. Alternating back and forth, you get even pressure on each side. Now we'll tighten this one down. Okay. And then I'm going to back this one off, and then we're going to apply Loctite to this one. Make sure it's lined up correctly. Don't want to strip these out. Tighten everything down. Make sure it's torqued down pretty good. That's good. And then finally, we're going to torque down, make this one really tight. And that's a 10mm on the bottom, and an Allen standard 5mm on top. There you go, nice and tight. So you can clearly see that Barkbuster did their homework. All this fits in really nicely. Cable run runs right over the top. It doesn't get in the way of the clutch cable. And it all sits in there really nicely. And it protects this bar really good. That's it. Let's put on the storm guard. So you got 4 of these staples. Looks like in the top, bottom, and sides that you got to pull out. Go. Comes with the 2 storm guards. This one will be the throttle side. This will be the clutch side. And the screws and the little brackets so you can mount them. Looks like they're all Phillips heads. We'll be using the aluminum backbone. So we'll use this little bracket right here. Make sure you align it the right way. We'll attach it with the 2 screws, and then there'll be a screw that attaches outside of the backbone. So the Barkbuster already has a hole set up here. Just gotta line it up. You will have to kind of thread the hole though, so getting that screw in there might be hard. Kind of feel it threading through that aluminum. That's in there good. Now we'll add the little plastic bracket, and you can see it slopes down so it follows the contour of the aluminum bar. And now we'll put these 2 little screws in. Okay. Depending on the size of your screwdriver, it might be hard to get in here, but this one looks like it's working pretty good. Make sure you tighten them together. Back and forth. So that's one down. Let's move now over to the throttle side. So we'll be doing the exact same thing, just mirrored. Opposite of the other side. The best position is the same thing. Get these cables right underneath the bracket. And we'll put these in loosely. Now the bar ends with a little weight. Bolt. Just put it in lightly. Okay, 4 or 5 threads. And we'll check the adjustments over here now. And we'll check the alignment of this. Same thing, just light, loosely. And we'll just check the alignment. Making sure we put even pressure on these. Go back and forth. Okay. So I'm having some concerns because if this comes up here too far, it comes in contact with this brake line. And when you drop the bike on the right side, there's a good chance that it might jar enough to move that connector. So I'm going to try to give myself as much room as I can away from that. It's not ideal because it won't be exactly parallel to this. If I do go parallel to that, maybe something like this. So just move it around until it works for you. So we'll continue to tighten. You see I've got about 1/4 inch of space between there. That should be fine, I hope. And we're going to pull this out and add some red Loctite. Okay. Finally, put a nice little twist on it. There you go. And then finally, we'll just do this last one here. Make sure that's tight. Using a 10mm on the bottom and the Allen head on top. All right, we got that tight. Now we want to check the alignment. So the backbone looks like it provides plenty of protection for the lever. There's a good distance here between the brake line and the lever, and everything looks solid. So let's install the Storm handguards. Make sure you line them up. Check the hole here. There you go. Screw it in. Now install the little bracket with the 2 screws. Screw them in. Tighten those. Make sure they're nice and tight. That looks good. Tight, tight. So we've run into a little problem. So the standard switch right here, when it's all the way out, actually almost all the time, this just hits it. Just bumps into it. So we need more clearance. We didn't notice that until we put it all together. So we're going to roll this thing up a bit so it's a little higher. And because we hit this thing here, we're also going to roll this as well. We're going to loosen this and roll this up as well. It does change the position of the throttle cable a little bit, but it'll keep us from hitting this light whenever we go full deflection. So make sure you're looking at all these different things. There you go. And we'll raise this up a bit so it clears. So there you go. Look at that. Now we're clear of it. So make sure we check the full deflection before you latch everything down. Otherwise you'll be repeating it like we did. So the final thing we're going to install, especially for 3-season riding, is the Enduro 3/4 grip mitts from OBR ADV Gear. So the install is pretty simple. They're basically just made out of fabric, waterproof fabric. They've got a little Velcro section in here, so you can attach it to that section, and they come with these little Velcro straps. We used these for about the last 3 years on our previous bikes, and they definitely help with 3-season riding, especially once it gets down to like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of nice to have these to protect your hands, keep them warmer. They're pretty easy to install. They come with these little Velcro attachments right here. We've trimmed them down from the originals, but just slide them over and then attach the mitts right here with the Velcro right on the backbone, just like that. And then find the best placement for your particular bike. So they have 2 attachment points. It can either be here, here, and then you'll just attach these Velcro straps. I'm going to attach this Velcro to this very end point. We'll do the same thing on the bottom. And then I think the best place to do is pull it right through this little section right here. And then just Velcro them together. Not too hard. Just make sure you pull it tight, or they'll flap in the wind like a big elephant. And attach the other side the same way. What makes these mitts particularly nice is they don't extend back too far, so they're not necessarily as warmer as the other mitts, but it's easier to put your hand in here and control the levers, and the control's easier, especially when you're riding enduro, when you're standing up. So there you go. That's how you install the Gen 3 specific Barkbuster handguards and the OBR ADV Gear mitts. So as you can see, it wasn't too tough. It was just a little bit of work to make sure we get the alignment right. But I think Barkbuster did a bang-up job of making them custom fit for the KLR. So if you're interested in more KLR modifications, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of future updates.